So Kidz Fun Art is a fun little app I made for kids to make art with, and we've recently added this cool little gradient fill. I'm going to talk through how we did this with all nice web technologies. So you can see here it's all responsive to how you use your pointer, pen, finger, whatever, and you can even do cool things like changing the size of the gradient and see how responsive that is. So let's have a talk about how we did this, all with nice web technologies. So here's step one. The user has the app over here somewhere, and maybe they've got a little shape on the app that they want to fill in. So they click somewhere in here, and the main thread creates a few things. It creates an off-screen canvas, which is a 2D drawing area that can be used in a separate thread, a worker thread. It also creates a copy of the full image data in here, and it tells the worker thread where the user originally clicked, and sends all those to the worker thread. Then step two, the worker thread goes into the image data, and it does a simple flood fill with a solid color, and it draws it onto the off-screen canvas. I just use black, but any non-transparent color will work, and that's drawn onto the off-screen canvas. Then immediately, before the user sees any black flash of pixel data, it identifies in the flood fill what the rectangle for the bounds of that flood fill is, and then it applies a linear gradient to that. It uses this thing here where it says, on the context it says create linear gradient. It adds all the colors you want, at least 2 colors or more, and then it just uses the canvas context and says set the fill style to the gradient, and it says fill rectangle. But the magic here is using what's called the global composite operation on the canvas context. You can set it to something called source in, which means when you fill the gradient, only the pixels that are not transparent are actually updated. So even though you're setting a gradient on a rectangle, which is all that canvas lets you do, only the previously filled in shape actually shows the gradient, which is very cool. And then the final step, back on the main thread, the user can see the gradient changing, and as you move your finger around or your pen, it changes at least 60 frames per second, as you saw in the demo there. And once the user lifts their pen off or their finger, at that point you just take the contents of the off-screen canvas, you use draw image on the main user canvas, and you're done. You now have your gradient drawn onto your main canvas, and you can start again and add more gradients if you want. So yeah, I'll write a blog post about this, and the link is in the description of the video if you want to see a bit more. Okay, enjoy.